Champagne and French Fries Day on January 10th. It's true, champagne and French fries are a pretty delicious pairing. Marie of Unraveling Wine feels very strongly about this. So strongly that she started Champagne and French Fries Day as an international wine holiday in 2021. She and her friend Kleopatra set the date as January 10th, Anna Marie's birthday. Last year, I did the rounds of French fry places nearby, and we did a pairing. Here's the thing. Different fries can pair better with different champagnes. Then you layer on the sauces. You see where I'm going. Look at this French fry and dipping sauce experiment like a microcosm for all cooking and pairing. Different champagnes? Yes, my friends, not all champagnes are created equal, nor would we want them to be. It's the differences and nuances that make them exciting. There are many differences in champagnes, from regions to blends, styles, and dosages, that is, the sweetness levels. There is much more going on in the Champagne region with grower champagnes, vintage champagnes, and more, but we will only try to discuss aromas and flavors today. Why do French fries go with champagne? That is all about salt and fat. Delicious fries are salty and fatty, coating your palate with each bite. Not unlike that soft drink you pick up at the drive-thru, the bubbles in champagne cleanse your palate, so every munch on a fry tastes as good as the first. Nuances in fries and sauces. With fries, there's variation, right? Shoestring, curly, crinkle cut, steak, waffle fries, these all feel different in your mouth. Some are crunchier, some softer. They carry that salt and flavor differently. Some might even be sprinkled with more than just salt. Curly fries notoriously have a spice blend sprinkled on them. Sauces can also bring in many additional flavors, from honey mustard to barbecue in its many varieties. There is, of course, ketchup, then mustard, ranch, mayo, and of course fry sauce, that blend of mayo and ketchup that I love with Shake Shack fries. All of these elements change the textures and flavors in your mouth. Now let's talk about variations of champagne. So what affects the flavor of champagne? First, the grapes. Typically, a champagne is made from three major grapes: Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. There are a few others, but we'll stick with those three today for simplicity's sake. These three might be blended, but let's talk about them on their own, or when they are at least the majority of a blend. Blanc de Blanc. That means white of white, and indicates a champagne made only with Chardonnay. These wines are likely to have notes of citrus and green fruit. Blanc de Noir, white of black. These are black grapes made into a white wine, so there is little skin contact to get the color, and then they're made into a sparkling wine. These are primarily made with Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier. From a Pinot Noir-based champagne, you will find notes of berries, like cherries, blackberries, strawberries, and raspberries. From Pinot Meunier, you will find juicy red fruits with earthier forest floor notes, perhaps sweet herbs and tea. Now let's talk about lees contact and texture. The bubbles in champagne are created by yeast that are eating the sugars. These yeasts die and decompose in the bottle. I know it doesn't sound terribly pleasant, but just wait. In champagne, this is the point where they age the wine on the lees, or the dead yeast cells. This is often written as sur lie, or on the lees. This aging allows the yeast to stay in contact with the wine. This is where you get all those brioche and bready notes on champagne. It can also enhance the texture of the wine on your palate. Dosage, residual sugar, and sweetness level. Last but not least, we can talk about the sugar levels. After the second fermentation, the bottle is riddled. That means slowly spun and turned upside down to gather the yeast in the neck of the bottle. It is then disgorged, which is the method to remove the yeast. Often this is done by quickly freezing the bottle's neck and removing the cap to let the ice block of dead yeast shoot out. Of course, then the bottle is not quite full and needs to be topped off. At this point, the winemakers decide how sweet they want this wine to be, and they top it off with a dosage, or liqueur d'expédition in French. This is typically a mixture of wine and sugar syrup. The amount of sugar you add determines the sweetness level. The names can be a bit confusing because extra dry and dry are not really on the dry end of the chart. Here's the breakdown. Brut nature, less than 3 grams of sugar per liter in the final product, with none added after the second fermentation. This is the driest style. Extra brut has 0 to 6 grams per liter of sugar. Brut, less than 15 grams per liter of sugar. Extra dry, 12 to 20 grams per liter. Dry, 17 to 35 grams per liter. Demi-sec, 33 to 50 grams per liter. And doux means more than 50 grams per liter of sugar. The sweetness level will change the flavors in your mouth. Typically, in wine, you want the wine to be sweeter than the food, so we should be good with the French fries here. Then when you start adding seasonings and sauces, you can see how they pair. Sweetness can counterbalance heat, as in spicy heat. So if you are more daring than me and perhaps have some sriracha for your fries, you might want to balance that out with a sweeter champagne. Depending on its spice level, even the barbecue sauce may want to go with a wine in the middle of the scale. Of course, all these things are dependent upon your individual palate. Grab some friends, some champagne, some fries, and then give all this a try. It's January, y'all. We could use a holiday to break up this cold month. Dive in and enjoy.